Okay, guys, welcome to a new video, and today I will be doing another video about a pitch. I'm going to be doing more pitches for movies and stuff, and my ideas for films in the Monsterverse. So yeah, let's get on with it. This is a redo of Kong King's Heritage. Yes, this is a redo of that story because my last video, I'm not really that happy with it, so I'm going to redo it. Okay, so now the film would start out with members of the military in 1973 returning to the home of Packard's family with his 10-year-old son being shocked by the news. He doesn't know how yet. Yeah, he doesn't know how. Okay, so he doesn't know about the Titans yet. So there's that. He does not know that Kong killed his dad then. So yeah. Packard's son, Nick Packard. His name is Nick Packard, and he would be played by Don Cheadle. That's my casting for him in the modern day. But yeah.
Later.
So yeah, he's played by Don Cheadle, and Nick Packard, played by Don Cheadle, would join the military and be a veteran, serving in the war with Iraq until 2014. Packard would return home in 2014 to find that Las Vegas was being under attack by the female Muto. He tries to help as many people as possible, trying to get his wife and daughter out of the city. They both get crushed under rubble. Nick now has no one. Eventually, in late 2014, he's recruited by Monarch because of his father. There, he learns the truth, that an ape was responsible, and that now Packard, Nick, will get revenge on this ape.
5 minutes later.
2030. Kong now has a new family with his ape kingdom. 2 scouts are sent out to inspect an undiscovered realm. One is Suko. They both find a stormy forest with dark black rain engulfing it. I'm envisioning the ash forest from Prey, where the predator killed all those people. That's what I'm envisioning for this area. And where was I? The dark black rain engulfing it, with skull crawlers playing tug of war with a turtle-like titan, kind of my reference to Gamera. Splitting it in half, Suko then finds a facility. They see a bright red light with a dark figure jumping behind them and killing one of the apes. Suko sees as One Eye rips the ape's head off. This is One Eye, the main henchman of Scar King from Godzilla x Kong. So that's that. One Eye is the one with the scarred eye in Godzilla x Kong that follows Scar King's orders. And now he's working with this mysterious person. Because kind of like in War for the Planet of the Apes, with the apes helping the humans fight the good apes, so like Caesar's army and so, the military using apes later to fight Caesar's ape army. So that's what I got from that. A dark figure. Okay, and now Suko sees One Eye rip the ape's head off. Suko gets knocked out by a mechanical hand. Now, 2025, so we're going back a couple years. This whole part takes place after Godzilla X Kong, so this is before it, but after Godzilla vs. Kong. So 2025, Nick founded his own company, being a rival to Apex, being called Lotus Mechanics. Since Mark Simmons died, Nick Packard took over the company, with it now being called Apex Lotus Cyber Mechanics. Yeah, so Preston Packard owns it. So I'm not sure. Yeah, like this is, it's kind of like it kind of contradicts with the last one, but I'm trying to. I think how I would do it is that since Jonah, I think this is after, like, this takes place before Jonah took over Apex, so that's why that's a thing. But the acquisition was was completed in 2027 due to other countries being hesitant at first. So this is kind of like when Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard, where it just took a really long time for them to buy it because there are so many people against the idea. So that's my idea for that. And yeah, in 2030, and so he owns it now though. Like, he owns both companies. 2030, we are back to modern day, or modern day in terms of this film. Kong gets concerned for Zuko. He sensed they were in trouble, and Kong has a mate named Loka. 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 This is a female Kong. That is Kong's love interest. She is Kong's love
5 minutes later.
interest. So she uses Scar King's old whip. They take Shima with two other apes. One being the ape. Yeah, being the one Kong punched in the face. So it's like the Kong. One of them is the Kongs that Kong punched in the face, like that crazy meme. That Kong would kind of have a big role in this movie because he would be redeemed, have a lot more hair. I think that's a cool idea, and they are now known as Maximus. That's its name from now on. It's Maximus. Having a totally new rebrand. So its name is Maximus, and now
2,000 years
are a
later.
trusted ally to Kong. They head out with three other apes, three brothers. One being albino, named Tundra. The dark one is named Shen, and the third one being gray with a big mane, known as Mughal. Yes, Mughal is my favorite one. I'm going to design him. But for now, I'm just gonna do stock pictures. But eventually, I'm gonna do a design of how I would design these characters. So yeah, but Mughal is pretty cool. I'm pretty proud of that creation. Nick, in his office, is remembering stuttering. I'm sorry, that was off stuttering. Is remembering his father's death and his guilt, thinking back to a time when he was 6 with him and his father playing baseball. Preston says, "No matter what happens, when I'm out there, never look back." Tear comes down Nick's eye. Tears comes down Nick's eye. Modern Nick's eyes, and he dropped a picture he was holding. So he's like really sad. Modern Nick is really sad. He is just like crying because he is reminiscing on older days with his father, and he drops the picture, breaking it. And a picture he was holding. He sees Zuko chained up, so he captured Zuko. That's what that implies. He chained up Zuko, and it's like this prison, this Titan prison, but it's for apes. And a Titan prison he then electrocutes Zuko. He electrocutes him with those cuffs that he's on. It's kind of like he's like strung up, with cuffs and chains and stuff, and he's being shocked. So he screams, and yeah, as Nick says to himself, they're coming, don't worry. So he is kind of like crazy. He's coming, kind of having a double meaning where it then pans to a picture of Packard, of old man Packard, and he's just in the reflection, like freaking out, crying, just so sad, just breaking down and crying. And then he screams, and that's the end of that scene. And Kong is on Shimo's back. This is back with Kong. Kong is back on... Okay, sorry about that. Stuttering again. I'm really sorry about that. Kong is on Shimo's back as the others walk behind Kong. Yeah, walk behind. Kong stops. They do too. Mughal hears something as he gets ready. As he gets ready his hammer. Tundra. So Mughal has such a this cool Shao Kahn from Mortal Kombat-esque hammer. I think this is a cool idea. I think it's awesome. So yeah, that's he has a hammer. And Tundra is the albino ape. He is one of these three he is one of these three brothers. He's named Tundra because it's kind of like ice and stuff, like a tundra. And he's inspired off of Kiko, of course. He is inspired off of Kiko. He is with Kong. I would give him 2 shanks, ice shanks or something. I'm not sure, like probably stone shanks, but like 2 shanks. And then Shen unsheaths their giant bone katana. Okay, Shen has a giant bone katana. It is really cool. I really like the idea. So that's that. And unsheaths their giant bone katana as a giant creature trudges through the forest. As Shimo readies her frost breath. As what walks out is Doug. This is Doug's cameo. He's a fake out. Doug's a funny fake out. I think this was a perfect scene to have. And yeah, they have a bone in their mouth. So yes, he has a bone in his mouth. It's really cute. And he walks up to Kong and drops the bone. Kong pats their head. It's all cute and stuff. Kong is patting their head. And then Kong throws the bone back in the forest as One Eye jumps out and impales Kong through the shoulder as other apes walk out with red paint. And all-out war breaks out as Tundra
2,000 years later
gets one. Gets one. What the fuck? Okay, so Tundra, as the war breaks out, Tundra gets out and gets one of the Kongs. Like one of the evil Kongs. So One Eye is with all these other Kongs. It's very intense. Kong hits One Eye as they fly onto a rock. One Eye's head bleeds as he's knocked out. Mughal grabs one by the neck and throws one up like baseball. He then hits them in the legs. They fall on their face, like a flip. Mughal then crushes their head. So he like does a baseball thing. It's like really cool. And like he like he like throws him up. He uses his hammer to hit the legs as he just spins around and lands on his face, and then Mughal crushes his head with the hammer. I think it's a really cool thing. It's a really cool idea. That's that. And the others submit. One cries. So the fight's over. The Kongs are done. Yes, the others submit. One cries from pain. Kong gets Kong gets emotional seeing all these apes being treated like this. And they sign to, and Kong signs with one of the scared apes. Yes, the scared one tells them about the Ape Reaper. Mughal gets pissed and attacks the scared one as a bright light shows pushing Mughal away. So this bright light pushes Mughal away, and and Mothra then lands, and Shimo is enchanted by her beauty. So Mothra appears, and I have this cute little scene where Shimo is just like, "Oh my god, you are so cool," in just like a little facial expression thing. And yeah, and she's enchanted by her beauty, you know. Mothra leads them home as Zuko comes out. So Mothra saved Zuko off screen, but we'll get to that flashback. Zuko hugs Kong. Kong is shocked and he sees him all bruised and bloody. Some kind of tracker is on Mothra as they go home. Kong still goes to hunt the Ape Reaper. So there's a tracker on Mothra as Mothra is like making them go home. She has a tracker on her. Zuko goes home with her. And there's a tracker on Mothra. I said that a bunch of times. I think I just said tracker a lot. Tracker. But yeah, they go home and Kong is just like, I'm not going. I'm gonna hunt this Ape Reaper guy down. And so so that's what the mech's called. It's called the Ape Reaper. That's my idea for it. And Kong is all pissed that Zuko got his ass kicked, and no one can kick Zuko's ass like that. So he goes, and he goes on his own. Shimo goes home. She's tired, and that's that, you know. And Mothra, and basically this is 20. And now here's the flashback. This is what explains it. This is what explains that whole situation. Mothra found a mysterious outpost. She gets whipped and struggles on the ground. So she gets whipped. So I envision this like Takeda from Mortal Kombat X. Like the Ape Reaper again has a whip that comes out of its hand, and that's how that works. It's like Takeda from Mortal Kombat X. That's my main. That's my main inspiration for that. And basically, she's on the ground struggling, and she's on the ground as she sees the Ape Reaper. He has Zuko. He's choking Zuko in his hand, and Mothra explodes into fiery rage as she flies into the other Kong. Okay, so as she flies into it, other Kongs come out. So as she's pissed off, she's like flying up. She's gonna go attack the Ape Reaper, but other Kongs come out. This is where we see the other Kongs that have been tortured and basically made into killers and brainwashed and stuff. The other Kongs come out and beat on Mothra as she's about to do the fiery thing. The other Kongs come out and beat up Mothra into submission. The ape tries to, and then the ape tries to cut. One of the apes tries to communicate with Packard that they need water, and Packard, all pissed off, trying to show an example. All this ape was doing was just asking for water, but he gets killed for it. He ties the whip around its neck, cutting its head off, and and decapitates the ape. Packard uses the head as a trophy. He sends the other apes out to find intruders. That's where that happened. Mothra escaped with Zuko, as Packard puts a tracker on Mothra. Mothra and the other apes return home. So they're back. So I envision Kong's home, his new home, as this big, beautiful temple full of trees and cute apes playing and stuff, and it's just cute. It's a really cute area, and Mothra and the other apes return home as Kong continues his hunt. Packard calls for the military to send the cavalry, as he finds them due to Mothra's tracking beacon. So he finds their home because Mothra had the beacon, had the tracking thing on her back. So that sucks. And One Eye gets up to go. Basically, this I don't know what this is, a little part. I'm not sure if he goes and helps Packard or he just goes away and they set him up for a different movie. I like the latter idea because I just think that it's cool to just have him be in future stuff. But One Eye gets up to go help Packard. Loka sneaks up on Kong, and he's surprised, but is glad to have someone with him. Loka signs, "We save home together." Yes, Loka and Kong are a cute couple. I love that. So, Kong smiles as the military attacks Kong's temple. They have mechs. So I'm going to use Pacific Rim as a reference, but these mechs are kind of similar to Mechagodzilla. That's my idea for it. And the mechs. And they have mechs of their own. So the military finally attacks Kong's temple, and the mechs
2,000 years later.
And they have
5 minutes later.
Yeah, so they have mechs of their own to attack this temple with, as they send out a giant maser cannon into the battlefield, as the other Kongs fight. Shimo jumps, destroying mechs, chomping on some, crushes Hollow Earth tanks as they fire the tank. Packard readies. So as they're fighting, Packard is getting ready to go to Kong's temple to kill them all. And basically, raise the mech to go to the temple, but Nick sees Kong. Kong destroys the base as he starts to fight Packard. So Kong and Packard are fighting. And basically, Loka. So Loka, if you guys don't know this, Loka is Kong's girlfriend, and she went with Kong, saying that line, "We save home together." So she is with Kong. She is fighting with Kong. So Kong destroys. Okay, so Kong fights Packard. A maser tank flies in, and basically, this is crazy. And basically, this big cavalry maser tank. Finally, we have a maser tank, but it's this ultra one, where it's even scarier. Basically, Shimo is fighting all these other mechs, but then this tank comes in, and basically, Shimo and this tank have a beam clash. It is crazy. It is so crazy. And Mothra's not here in this fight for a reason. Yeah, Mothra is not here in this fight like for a reason. She's not here in this fight. But I'll explain why. So yeah, Shimo shoots. They have a huge beam clash, and Zuko in the midst of this, as they're having this crazy beam clash with the Mazer tank, Zuko is trying to save as many apes as he can. He's trying to save as many, and this crazy beam crash is going on with Shimo and this giant fucking Mazer tank. And as Kong's on the ground, Loka uses her whip to break off the skull. Maximus jumps, and Maximus is here too. Maximus was not yet decides to go on their own. Maximus comes in, they're all really surprised, and he jumps onto the Ape Reaper as Kong cuts off one of its arms. A metal whip comes out and slashes Kong's eye. So Kong's eye is scarred. It's like what happened in Skull Island, but it's more severe, where Kong has a scarred eye now. Kong can't see out of one of his eyes. It's kind of like Thor in the Thor trilogy from the MCU. So I got that for inspiration. And also Odin in Norse, and also Odin in Norse mythology because of that. And basically cuts one of it, and it cuts Kong's eye. Back to Shimo in the Mazer tank. It's like cutting all over the place. But Shimo and the Mazer tank reach a breaking point as the apes look. Okay, so Shimo and this Mazer tank are reaching a breaking point. They're either gonna blow up or one's gonna get killed or destroyed. And the apes look in uncertainty. A big explosion happens. Out of rage, Kong screams. So this is back at the battle with Packard. Out of rage, Kong screams. He grabs the mech and rips it in half like King Shark in Suicide Squad. Oh yeah. He sees a person inside, and Kong recognizes him. And a bright light flashes. So Kong knows this is Packard. This is somehow Packard. He thinks it's Packard, but it's really Packard's son. But Kong. But then a bright light happens. Mothra appears. Yes, Mothra appears, and it is so cool. Packard walks out of the mech as Mothra gives Nick visions of his father. So this is the part where Sam Jackson comes back, and Sam Jackson doesn't come back, but it's like a ghost of him. She's making him see all this stuff, kind of like the Drift from Pacific Rim. And she gives Nick visions of his father saying, "You did good. You can rest now." Kong gets back up. Kong gets back as Nick turns into dust. Nick Packard is dead. He finally can rest. And that's that he's dead now, Kong roars, and they get home. And Kong finds his home destroyed. Apes get out, and his home's all destroyed. Kong gets home after that whole crazy battle with Packard, and he sees his home destroyed, all these apes dead, and all the military dead. But and then all the apes, all the surviving apes come up, embrace Kong, a lot like the ending of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, where Caesar comes out and then the apes are all like, "Whoa!" It's like that ending, but the apes all embrace Kong, and Zuko walks in front of them, and they both hug. Yes, they both hug. as they look into the sunset, more ships come in. Kong roars, pounding his chest, rallying the apes to go to war with the surface. The end. Yeah, guys. Kong is having a war with the surface for Godzilla x Kong 3. This is crazy. I would have basically Godzilla 2. Basically, after Packard died, Jonah takes it and takes it from the ashes and makes it his own place. Jonah takes the remnants of all this Apex and Apex a Lotus stuff and makes it his own company, just reverting it back to Apex and setting up Alan Jonah as the main big bad of the Monsterverse. That's my idea. So yeah, that's my whole thing. That's my whole story. That's it. I had a lot of fun making this. I hope you guys had fun listening to my yappering. So that's it, guys. See you guys later, and have a great day.